Please welcome to the show, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, did you ever
What's
think
up,
you'd
guys?
be back? Cheers.
Excited to be back.
The virtual stage was set, the Zoom call buzzing with anticipation. On our YouTube channel, we were about to witness a conversation that would ripple through the basketball world like a perfectly executed alley-oop. The guests? None other than Caitlin Clark, the electrifying rookie sensation. Sue Bird, the retired legend whose wisdom still echoed in arenas. And Diana Taurasi, the fiery queen of the WNBA whose every word carried the weight of a championship trophy. This wasn't just an interview. It was a collision of eras, a celebration of the game, and a glimpse into the future of women's basketball. The screen flickered to life, and Caitlin's grin was the first thing to steal the show. Her sharp wit and infectious energy set the tone, as if she'd just drained a three-pointer from half court and was daring everyone to keep up. "Well, here we are," she said, leaning into the camera with a playful smirk. "Hope y'all brought your A-game because I'm not holding back." Sue chuckled, her calm demeanor a perfect counterpoint to Caitlin's spark.
Don't worry. I got this nice throwback Gatorade can.
Well played. Well played. Sounded like a
"Oh, we're ready, kid. Let's see if you can handle the legends." Diana, never one to miss a beat, raised an eyebrow. "Handle us, please. I've been dodging double teams since you were in pigtails." The banter was instant, like a pickup game where everyone knew the rules but still played dirty. It was clear this wasn't going to be a stuffy, scripted chat. This was raw, real, and ready to explode with stories that would make fans clutch their jerseys in awe. The rookie who rewrote the rules, Caitlin Clark, wasn't just a name in the WNBA, she was a phenomenon. From her college days at Iowa, where she shattered records and sank shots that defied physics, to her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, she'd been rewriting the narrative of what a newcomer could achieve. But the road hadn't been all highlight reels and standing ovations. The WNBA was a different beast, a league of battle-hardened veterans who didn't care about your NCAA stats or your Instagram followers. And Caitlin? She'd learned that the hard way. As the conversation kicked off, Diana leaned back in her chair, her signature mischief gleaming in her eyes. "So, Caitlin, let's talk about that first game in Phoenix. You walked in like you owned the place, but I'm pretty sure I saw a few beads of sweat when we started pressing." Caitlin laughed, unfazed. "Oh, you wish, Diana. I was sweating because the arena was like a sauna, not because of your defense." The room erupted in laughter, and Sue shook her head. "You two are gonna burn this call down before we get to the good stuff." But Diana wasn't done. She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper.
You said that Caitlin is going to go through a learning curve. Some people were critical of you for saying that, but I don't know that it necessarily meant that you're not welcoming her.
Real talk, though. That game felt like the Super Bowl, the World Series, and a rock concert all rolled into one. The crowd was losing it, and you were out there hitting shots like you'd been in the league for a decade. Caitlin's grin softened, a flicker of pride crossing her face. It was wild. I'd watched you and Sue on TV for years, and suddenly I'm out there, trying to prove I belong. That game in Phoenix? It wasn't just a game. It was a moment, and what a moment it was. Fans who'd packed the arena that night still talked about it like it was a religious experience. Caitlin, barely a month into her pro career, had gone toe-to-toe with Diana Taurasi, the woman who'd defined clutch performance for a generation. Every dribble, every shot, every glare between them had felt like a passing of the torch, or maybe a tug of war for it. The Fever had pulled off a gritty comeback, and Caitlin's late-game heroics had left Diana shaking her head in grudging respect. The learning curve that wasn't a curve. The conversation shifted to Caitlin's transition to the WNBA, a topic that had sparked endless debates among fans and analysts. When she'd first entered the league, some had doubted whether her college dominance would translate. Diana herself had famously warned that reality was coming for the young star, a line that had been memed, dissected, and thrown back at her like a fastball. Sue brought it up with a sly grin. "So, Diana, you got a lot of flack for that reality is coming comment. People thought you were throwing shade at Caitlin. Care to clear the air?" Diana rolled her eyes, but there was a twinkle of amusement there. "Listen, people hear what they want to hear. I wasn't saying Caitlin couldn't hang. I was saying the league's a different animal."
Right? I mean, how do you I mean, it seems like you were just saying the reality is she's going to have a learning curve.
Yeah, it's the new fans. They're really sensitive these days.
You go from dominating college kids to facing pros who've been grinding for years. It's not shade, it's just facts. Caitlin nodded, her expression thoughtful. She's not wrong. I mean, college was intense, but the WNBA? It's like someone turned the speed dial to 11 and forgot to tell me. The physicality, the pace, the expectations, it hits you like a freight train. Sue tilted her head, her voice gentle but probing. But you didn't just survive that train. You hopped on and started driving it. How'd you make that leap so fast?
Can't say anything. Yeah, it's kind of like when you go from kindergarten to first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment.
Diana let out a low whistle. A fire? Girl, you were a whole inferno. I've seen rookies crumble under half the pressure you faced, and you were out there breaking records like it was just another Tuesday. It was true. Caitlin's rookie season had been a masterclass in defiance. She'd led the Fever in scoring, set a league record for assists by a rookie, and turned heads with her fearless play. But it wasn't just the stats that defined her. It was the swagger, the way she carried herself like she'd been born for this. Every time a defender tried to rattle her, she'd respond with a step-back three or a no-look pass that left the crowd gasping. Reality had come all right, and Caitlin had sent it packing. Locker room legends and off-court drama as the Zoom call rolled on. The trio dove into the juicier side of the game. The rumors, the narratives, the off-court noise that seemed to follow Caitlin like a shadow. One story in particular had gripped the basketball world. The whisper that the Fever's locker room was a hot mess, with players at odds and egos clashing. Caitlin shook her head, a mix of amusement and exasperation on her face. Y'all, the stuff people come up with. I'd be in practice, joking with my teammates, and then I'd go online and see Fever in turmoil. Like what? We were literally eating pizza together after shoot-around. Sue laughed, her eyes crinkling. Oh, I've been there. One bad game and suddenly everyone's writing think pieces about how you hate each other. How do you deal with that noise? You don't, Caitlin said flatly. You can't. People are gonna make up stories no matter what you do. All that matters is what's real. The team, the coaches, the work we put in.
I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct, and like anything, greatness is going to translate, and she's proven that in every level, and I don't see it.
Everything else? It's just static. Diana nodded, her expression serious for once. That's the game within the game. The court's tough, but the outside world, that's where the real traps are. You gotta block it out or it'll eat you alive. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from three women who'd faced their share of scrutiny. For Caitlin, the rumors had been particularly relentless. Her meteoric rise had made her a lightning rod for criticism. Too cocky, too flashy, not ready for the pros. Yet she'd handled it with a poise that belied her 22 years, shrugging off the haters while pouring her energy into her craft. The conversation took a lighter turn as they reminisced about their college days, trading stories of epic matchups and not-so-subtle trash talk. Diana recounted a game where she'd tried to get under Caitlin's skin, only to have the rookie fire back with a dagger 3 and a smirk that said, "Try again." Sue shared a tale of her own, about a young Diana who'd once trash-talked her way into a technical foul, only to laugh it off afterward. "It's like a rite of passage," Sue said, grinning. "You gotta talk a little smack to earn your stripes." Caitlin raised an eyebrow. "Oh, I earned mine. Diana's got nothing on my chirp game." Diana clutched her chest in mock offense. "Excuse me? I invented trash talk. You're just borrowing my playbook." The laughter was infectious, a reminder that beneath the rivalries and headlines, these women shared a bond forged in sweat, sacrifice, and a love for the game.
So your retirement, D.
Thank you.
And congrats.
Now, unfortunately, reality's coming to me now.
They weren't just competitors, they were storytellers, weaving a tapestry of memories that would inspire the next generation. The weight room warrior. No conversation about Caitlin Clark would be complete without addressing her transformation off the court. A viral photo from the offseason had set the internet ablaze. Caitlin, flexing biceps that looked like they'd been sculpted by a Renaissance artist, standing in the weight room like a superhero in training. The caption? "Ready for war." On the Zoom call, Sue couldn't resist bringing it up. "Okay, Caitlin, we gotta talk about those guns. That photo, People were losing their minds. What's the secret? Protein shakes? Magic? Caitlin laughed, flexing playfully for the camera. No magic, just work. I've been living in the weight room, trying to get stronger. You don't survive in this league without some muscle to back up your shot. Diana chimed in, her tone half teasing, half impressed.
What's your big plans? What are you going to do?
You know, I keep telling Sue I thought I was going to have all this time to do all...
Stronger? Girl, you look like you could bench press me and Sue at the same time. The truth was, Caitlin's physical evolution was no accident. She'd approached the offseason like a general preparing for battle, logging hours in the gym to build the strength she'd need to withstand the WNBA's relentless physicality. But it wasn't just about bulking up. She was refining her game, adding new weapons to an already lethal arsenal. A mid-range jumper that could freeze defenders. A floater that seemed to float above the laws of gravity. A knack for finishing through contact like she was auditioning for the NFL.
I believe she started off with the reality is coming to me talk. And the fact that they're all laughing about that immediately is good. Straight away. In fact, Taurasi, I thought Caitlin Clark was going to have to mention a reality thing. I was like, Caitlin,